Hi everyone, Andy here at Spymaster Gaming. Welcome back to the channel and a very warm welcome if it's your first time joining us. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the outcome of a Grimdark Future and Grimdark Future Firefight campaign I've been running over the summer on the back of helping organise the first official UK tournament for one-page rules. But before I go any further, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I do cover a variety of different war games and stuff outside of the norm, so if you are interested in that, please consider becoming a member of the channel. So, summer campaign. I had the idea after wrapping up the first official tournament at the UK Games Expo this year in June. Really good fun. It was really nice to meet the one-page rules guys and obviously help them with organising that tournament. And up until that point, I'd organised about 6-7 different events locally. And it was all obviously just stuff that I designed myself with my local group and my friend Ed over at Don't Think Just Charge. If you want some good OPR battle reports, I suggest you check out his channel if you haven't already done so. I'll put a link in the description below. But we'd been getting our heads together for a couple of years designing these events, and someone said to me on the back of it, "Oh, it'd be good if we could do something a bit more sort of like a long drawn out thing." And I remembered from when I was younger taking part in the old Games Workshop campaigns such as Armageddon and the Eye of Terror, where basically you would play the events over the summer and then you'd have a culminating event to bring it to a close. And I thought, right, let's try and recreate that. So we came up with the idea of taking Inconsequentia. Inconsequentia, because futility of war and all that, there's not much point in fighting if it's endless. So we thought we'd call the planet Inconsequentia. And we wrote a bit of fluff and we thought, okay, yeah, let's just make this nonsensical planet, which just happens to be a bit like Earth because it has different sectors to it. It had 6 sectors representing ice, desert, forest, magma, things like that. So basically, when people were playing and fighting over the sectors during the summer campaign, they could have a bit of variety to the terrain. And we made some broad allegiances as well. Now, these were basically designed not to align with the lore of one-page rules so much, but because the people who were contacting me to play in the campaign, they weren't just local people. We were getting people from across the country, and I needed to try and balance the army so that people could maximize the number of games they could play locally within their groups. So we settled on 4 different alliances, which were humanity, incorporating the likes of your battle brothers, your sisters, and sort of the human defense force and obviously other human factions. You then had nasty Xenos, which with the likes of robot legions, orc marauders, and then you had noble Xenos on the flip side of that with the dwarf guilds and high elf fleets. And then there was sheer destruction, which is your likes of your alien hives and things like that, and your havoc lists as well. So we broadly designed those alliances. We didn't allow people to play the Titan Lords because we were also going to be allowing games at a Grimdark Future Firefight scale. And in order to basically feed into the campaign, everyone who agreed to take part had to play 4 different games. 2 Grimdark Future at 2,000 points, and then 2 Grimdark Future Firefight at 300 points. And the results, whatever sector they were playing in, would feed into the overall campaign. So it was really, really nice to see, because I've struggled to get things locally off the ground where I've asked people to play, say, try and get a game in once a month, and people have struggled with that. And to have the best part of 25 people get together from different parts of the country and actually commit to get the games in was an incredible sight to see. And although it was admin heavy and I was having to log all of the results, I really didn't mind it. It's because people were actually enjoying the campaign and playing into it. And then could give little updates on where the sectors were in terms of their alliances, which alliances had taken control of which sectors. And it was really nice to see. So I designed 2 scenarios for people to play, to keep it very, very basic. The first one, I can't even say I designed it because it is the standard Grimdark Future scenario, D3 plus 2 objectives. And then for the Grimdark Future Firefight, it was 4 objectives, one of which was central and basically wasn't sticky, whereas the other 3 objectives were sticky. So by the end of the 4th turn, the central objective was also worth 2 points. So there was a bit of an incentive to try and take the middle of the board. Nice and simple objectives. So people could just obviously enjoy and not think too much about it as they were playing. and it was really, really good to see that people were just getting their games in. Now, in order to take part in the final event, people had to complete their 4 games, and it was really good to see that 20 of them managed to take part, which ended up being 5 players per alliance. So we had a perfect balance on the day. And um, from the start of the campaign, which was the 1st of July to the 30th of August, there must have been over about 50, 60 games played, which was really, really good. And then the 20 people who filtered into the event on the 1st of September, fighting for their alliances to basically bolster those points up further. So the event day itself, I didn't do too much to the formula. I kept the scenarios the same, and it was a case of playing 3 games of Grimdark Future and 2 games of Grimdark Future Firefight. How it worked was essentially the players that had the lowest score going into it, so all of the point scoring leading up to the event, the alliance that was the bottom had the priority for the first game, and then basically it went down like that. So the second worst or second lowest got priority for the second game, and what it meant was priority for the game they were playing meant they could choose what sector they wanted to fight in. So I would show them the data and say, this is how your alliance is performing in these sectors. Which sectors do you want to fight in for this game? And obviously the toss-up is if they fight in those sectors to try and improve their standing, they may lose the game and actually force their opponent to score higher, so they may end up worse off. So it was all about tactical decision-making. They would then pair off against members of the different alliances through randomization, random pairing. I essentially created these little chits where it had your alliance and your name on the back of it, and then you would pick someone from another alliance and go and fight them. So it was sort of blind pairing, which worked really well, and I had quite good feedback on that. I mixed it up a bit though, and I like to do crazy things for the events, but rather than obviously creating individual scenarios for the 5 games, I kept them the same, but I added what was called Advantageous tables, which people could roll on at the beginning of every round. So essentially, what it meant was rolling 2d6 at the start of the round, and then seeing how you fared on the table. And I designed it on a bit of a bell curve using the 2d6. So essentially, on a 2 or a 3, you weren't going to get any advantages, but then you may get some really cool effects, like sort of being able to call in an artillery strike, having hidden snipers, being able to target a different unit on the battlefield, or maybe even gaining regeneration for the round as well. And then you'd lose the effects at the end of the round, and then you'd roll again on the table for the next round. So it kept things fresh. It kept people thinking about how they could respond to the different effects that they and their opponents were generating on the tables. And then obviously it would affect their playstyle as well. So if you were going all in, but then suffered an orbital laser strike, for example, which took out one of your big units, you may have to think obviously on your feet and think how you were going to adapt to that. Had really good feedback on that as well, and I think it just kept the games fresh and interesting, but there wasn't any slowdown of pace because people were comfortable with the scenarios. Really, really good, mentality of the players attending as well. It was really nice to see a room full of smiles, just people enjoying the day, and it showed as well in just like the the sportsmanship and obviously just the mutual respect that was just felt across the board. I've been to events before, non-one-page rules related, where at the end of a day, the atmosphere in the room could be seen as borderline hostile, but everyone walked away with a big smile, and that, as an organizer, was just absolutely brilliant. It was really nice for one-page rules as well to reach out and give us some certificates to obviously give out to sort of put a bit more of an official stamp on it, which was nice, and I think people appreciated that. And we did some other things as well, which were the most kill points. So basically classing full units that got wiped out through the course of the day and then stacking that up. And that went to Hutch, who played really, really well with an Alien Hives list, absolutely decimated the competition, going all in on the attack, potentially taking his eye off the objectives, but he just went for the kill, and I say hats off to him. Also had a bit of a painting competition as well. Some really, really interesting models put forward for the painting competition. And the person who took that was Dan with his wonderful basically rendition of Commissar Yarrick, the old style Yarrick model there, which he was fielding with a Human Defense Force army, which was awesome. And at the end of the day, the faction that ended up taking Inconsequentia, controlling 3 of the 6 sectors, was Sheer Destruction, consisting of 2 Alien Hives players, Vanilla, Havoc Brothers, Change Brothers player, as well as a Soul Snatcher Cult player. So a good mix there. Really well done to them. It was quite close though. Noble Xenos were in second place, and it was only about 3 points in it, so not too shabby. It was really good to see the growth in as well. So 20 people in an event like this, it shows that the community is growing, putting the effort in. We had people coming from the north, from the southwest, and the Midlands as well. So to have people willing to travel for an event like this was absolutely incredible. Very, very privileged to obviously put on an event for people who are willing to travel. And I hope that they obviously enjoyed the day. I think they did, and they weren't just being polite. But it just meant that from that there's a baseline and there's an appetite for more of these organized events, and we are going to be looking at doing sort of bigger ones as well, moving over to Age of Fantasy and back and forth to try and get more people involved. All I can say is that it was a challenge. The obviously the data side of it was really, really interesting to look at as well, to see how the different factions were performing throughout the campaign. And it was really nice to see like quite a spread of different factions being played. There wasn't sort of a meta that came out of it. It was just people playing what they wanted to play, and obviously just having fun with it, which is what this system is all about. So I hope you've enjoyed all of the pictures and stuff on screen I've been showing, and the obviously what took place during the day. If you've got any questions about it, just please write comments down below. I'll try and answer them. If you want to obviously try and create your own event, I can hopefully help out with some pointers. And if you've enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks very much.